that 1 minus sine theta times 1 plus sine theta over sine square theta is equal to cot square theta. We can either prove that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, or that the right hand side is equal to the left hand side. So let's see, I am going to prove that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So let's show that the left hand side is equal to 1 minus sine theta times 1 plus sine theta all over sine square theta. Now that is equal to, I can see that 1 minus sine theta times 1 plus sine theta is a difference of 2 squares. So that means it is the same as 1 square minus sine square theta, and the denominator remains sine square theta. Now that is equal to 1 square is the same as 1, so I can just write it as 1. So that's the same as saying 1 minus sine square theta. Now 1 minus sine square theta is cos square theta. How did we get that? Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So if you make cos square theta the subject of this formula, it will be equal to 1 minus sine square theta. That simply means cos square theta is equal to 1 minus sine square theta. So that means instead of writing 1 minus sine square theta here, I'm going to write cos square theta. So the numerator will be equal to, let's clean this first. Now the numerator will be cos square theta, and the denominator, which is sine square theta, will remain what it is, sine square theta. Now this is the same as cos square theta over sine square theta is the same as the square of cos theta all over sine theta. It's the same as the square of cos theta over sine theta. It's just like saying a square over b square. It is the same as the square of a over b, because if you square a you get a square, if you square b you get b square. So now what does that mean? What is cos theta over sine theta? Cos theta over sine theta is cot theta. So that means that's equal to the square of cot theta, which simply means cot square theta, and that is the right hand side, cot square theta, and that is the right hand side. And that's it, very very simply. Let me show how I got cot theta to be, let me show why cot theta is cos theta over sine theta. We know that cot theta is the reciprocal of tan theta. 1 over tan theta is cot theta. So that simply means cot theta is equal to 1 divided by, and we know that tan theta is sine theta over cos theta. So that means 1 divided by sine theta over cos theta, which will now mean 1 times cos theta over sine theta, and that is the same as cos theta all over sine theta, which simply means that, so that shows that cot theta is the same as cos theta over sine theta, and that's why we did what we did where we had cos theta over sine theta all square, and we made it cot square theta. So that's why cos theta over sine theta all square is the same as cot square theta, and that's a proof very very simply.